What's up, Spellslingers and Highlander enthusiasts? Havoc here, and today I'd like to present you with another EDH deck tech coming out of the legends we're getting in Battle Bond. Now, we'll get back to the partner with commanders in some later videos, but for this one, I wanted to focus on one of the most interesting legends I've seen in quite some time. At first, I wasn't sure what to think of this creature, but I knew if I could figure it out, it would probably be the most fun pile of jank that probably ever existed. But don't get me wrong here, it might be janky, but it is also mighty and hilarious at the same time. So let's meet this big green worm. Grothama All-Devouring is a legendary worm. Yes, we finally have a legendary worm, but this is far more than just being some worm tribal leader here. In fact, this creature has nothing to do with the worm tribe. She costs 3 in green and has a 10/8 body, and if that wasn't weird enough, her text box reads, "Other creatures have, when this creature attacks, you may have it fight Grothama All-Devouring." And what's the point of this? Well, her second ability is when Grothama leaves the battlefield, each player draws equal to the amount of damage dealt to Grothama this turn by sources they controlled. Now, the idea here is when your creature attacks, you can optionally have it fight Grothama All-Devouring, and if you're able to kill off Grothama, then you're able to draw that many cards equal to the amount of damage that you actually dealt to her this turn. Now, these two abilities provide a whole new world of possibilities. If we set this up right, this could be a crazy card draw engine for us. And since we're in mono green, it takes care of one of the weak points of green, and that is card draw. But your opponent's creatures also get the ability to fight Grothama to try to take her down. So that's an interesting angle that we could try to exploit. So let's talk about the deck breakdown real quick. Now, we aren't going the whole worm tribal route here, although that could be a lot of fun, especially for someone like me, who the thought of worms brings back a lot of nostalgia of the old days, but we're going to hone in on this fight idea. So, first of all, we need some creatures that will be great fighters to send at Grothama to trigger her ability to get that card draw. Next, we need some ways to bounce or blink Grothama so we can get the card draw trigger without having to recast her out of the command zone every time we kill her. The next category I'm calling Gacha. Like I said, our opponents will try to use Grothama's fight ability to take her down so they get the card draw on their turn at the cost of one or more of those creatures. One way we can ensure that they don't get the card draw is to pump her so their creatures die and Grothama stays on the board. And finally, I'm including just a lot of great green cards that we have available to us. Because Grothama puts a large target on her back, we need a plan for when she doesn't end up staying on the battlefield for very long, and we need to take full advantage of being in green. So that's the breakdown. Now strap yourself in because we're about to enter the Fight Club where Grothama reigns supreme. So first, let's talk fighters. These are going to be creatures that we can send at Grothama and have them fight her, and we actually get a lot of value out of it with them either staying on the board or other effects. First, we have to talk about Moss Bridge Troll. Look at this creature. So it's a troll, so it has that built-in regeneration, which is nice, but look at that second ability. You can tap Grothama, giving the troll +20/+20, making it a 25/25. Then you have it fight Grothama, killing Grothama, and drawing you 25 cards. What? Now, you don't want to do this every turn, but wow. Yeah, welcome to the Fight Club. Next is Ronus the Indomitable, which has Indestructible and Death Touch on one creature, and that's basically a draw 5 for us if we have it fight Grothama. Golden Guardian is next, and this can just give us an endless stream of 4/4 bodies that we can throw at Grothama, and it fits into our Fight Club theme. Nylea, God of the Hunt, is a god, so she has Indestructible, and you can pump her so she's able to kill Grothama and draw you 8 cards, which is nice. Thornling is another creature that pumps itself and can give itself Indestructible, which is exactly where we want to be at in order to kill Grothama to get her off the board and get the card draw we want. Pathbreaker Ibex is an interesting creature because it pumps our creatures when he and they attack, making them better fighters for Grothama to hopefully be able to remove Grothama from the battlefield and get that card draw that we're after. Soul of New Phyrexia gives our permanents indestructible, which makes them perfect fighters for us to send at Grothama. Vigor negates the damage our creatures take, so we can just pile up the damage on Grothama, and if we can blink her, then that's just a ton of cards for us. And all of our creatures get counters. Awesome. Foe Razor Regent is a great dragon fight card, and it helps grow our creatures after they fight. Now this synergizes really well with indestructible creatures, or if we're able to give our creatures indestructible somehow, so that at the end of our turn they get even bigger and are better fighters the next time around. Now, speaking of indestructible creatures, here's Spearbreaker Behemoth. This is just perfect for us because it has indestructible itself, and it gives our other creatures indestructible as well. Yes, perfect. And of course, we need to have Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, in here. I mean, why not? This is utility and removal, and it's just awesome in any deck, and it's perfect for us. And finally, there's Ghalta, Primal Hunger. This easily could cast for double green most of the time, and it's a great fighter, being able to take care of Grothama in one fight, and that's 12 cards that we could draw from it. Nice. Next, we need to talk about the bouncers. Now, we don't always want to kill Grothama because then that's going to increase her command tax that we have to pay every turn that we want to get her onto the board. So we need other ways to take advantage of this card draw by having her leave the battlefield without having to kill her. First is Temur Sabertooth, and this has to be the all-star of the deck because it does both things that we want. It can bounce Grothama, and it can give itself indestructible, which is perfect for us. If you can get Temur Sabertooth out, that is the ideal scenario for us. Next, we have a bunch of artifacts and equipment that we can use. Nim Death Mantle is awesome. That's basically, once it's equipped, you pay 4 and it brings back that creature, thereby sidestepping the command tax that we'd have to pay. Scythe of the Wretched. Now this is a really interesting equipment here. Basically what you want to do is attach this to another creature, then when it fights Grothama, she comes back with the scythe equipped to her. Then the next turn you equip it to that same creature or another creature and do it all over again, and that way again we sidestep the command tax by getting Grothama back onto the battlefield. Cloudstone Curio is a great bounce effect that we can do really all the time because we're casting a lot of creatures. Erratic Portal is another great way. Just you pay 1 to bounce and then you don't pay the 1 to cancel the effect. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Cauldron of Souls is nice. I'm not sure if this will fit into my deck, but you can give it Persist, and that's a nice way to get it back. And also Conjurer's Closet is just the greatest blink effect ever. Every turn being able to blink Grothama out, and whatever damage was dealt to her, that's your card draw. Helm of the Host is next, and like I said before, I just want to put this in every deck and see what happens. This card has so much potential to just get out of control, and the idea here is you put it on Grothama, Grothama makes a copy of herself, and then you just fight the copy. You kill the copy, and you get card draw off of that, and Grothama stays on the board for us. And finally, we have Gaia's Embrace. I can see this either being on Grothama or a different creature that we want to attack into Grothama with. It gives the creature regenerate, which is nice, and it also pumps it, so if you put it on another creature, then that might be just enough to kill Grothama to get the card draw. Or you put it on Grothama, so that way you pay 1 and you don't ever have to worry about command tax. These blink and bounce effects are nice, but I wouldn't include too many in the deck because sometimes you actually want Grothama off of the board so your opponents don't ever get the chance to fight her. And that might actually be the best way to take advantage of her. You just fill out your board with great creatures that are strong, and you equip them up, and then when you need the card draw, cast Grothama, kill her right away, and then that way nobody else gets a chance to. Our next category is the Gacha category. The point is to pump up Grothama, so if one of your opponent's creatures wants to try to fight with her, Grothama survives and they don't get the card draw. Giant Growth is classic and it's cheap, and this might just do it for us. Or you never know, this can come in handy in different types of removal or trying to get in the last 3 points of damage. Vines of Vastwood is also nice, giving Grothama hexproof and +4/+4. It's going to be hard for your opponents to interact with her at that point. Next is Heroic Intervention. I can't believe that they actually gave this ability to green, which already has a lot of tricks up its sleeve, but hey, they printed it, so we'll take it. This is just good in a myriad of situations, not to mention when our opponents try to fight Grothama. We also have Mortal's Resolve. It's +1/+1 and indestructible for just 2 mana, and that's nice. And also Titanic Growth, which is +4/+4 for 2 mana. There's obviously a bunch of different pump mechanics in green, so search out the ones that you like and put them in at your leisure. Our final category is green good stuff. Like I said before, Grothama is going to be a big target. So if you aren't able to remove her off of the board right away yourself, then you need other things in your deck than just Grothama to be a threat. And really, Grothama isn't there to be a threat, it's there for card draws. So we need other creatures in our deck to swing the game more in our favor. First off is Uvenwold Tracker. This is just on theme of the fight thing, but we're also casting a lot of big, dumb, green creatures, and this is going to be good removal for us any way you look at it. Making our creature fight another target is just nice. Scavenging Ooze is green and it's Graveyard Hate, and you need to be running Graveyard Hate if you're playing EDH nowadays. And also we have a bunch of enchantment and artifact hate that we're putting in, like Reclamation Sage, Thrashing Brontodon, Acidic Slime, Indrix Stop Howler, and Bane of Progress. These will definitely slow down your opponents and are great threats for us on the board. Yiva Nature's Herald is just an auto-include in a mono green deck. It gives all of our green creatures flash, and it kind of gives them pseudo haste if we flash them in at our opponent's instep. Genesis is nice because it gets our creatures back into our hand, so that way we can fight Grothama at will, knowing that we'll be able to recast them at some point down the road. Multani Yavimaya's avatar just can get out of control in the late game, and it's just nice mono green, big, dumb, stompy stuff. So yeah, Multani's great. Vorinclick's Voice of Hunger. Now, if you feel like being a jerk at the table, which, I mean, hey, we're in mono green, so why not run it? But this could make you lose some friends in the long run, so I'll leave that up to you. Nissa Vital Force is a great planeswalker for us, not only for that regrowth ability that will be important for us down the road, but also she can turn our lands into great fighting fodder for Grothama. Seasons Past is just a mass regrowth effect for us, which is nice. Being able to replay cards, it's just a ton of value that we can get. Bonds of Mortality is just great. I mean, if our goal is to fight everything that lands on the board, then we need ways to remove Hexproof and Indestructible, and Bonds of Mortality does that for us. And finally, Greater Good. If Grothama has been dealt with a lot of times, then her command tax could get out of control. And so this just gives us a backup plan for the card draw that we want by sacking one of our bigger creatures, and we can draw a lot of cards off it that way. All right, wow, that was a lot of green stuff and a lot of fighting going on. You can see why myself and others are calling this the Fight Club deck. Now, this probably won't be a top tier deck among EDH decks, but it will be fun, at least in my opinion. And I've been looking for an interesting mono green deck to build around, and I think this is the one for me. So I'll definitely be building this one, at the very least, to take it out and see how much fun it really is. And if you want to see my deck list, it'll be in the description below. But I want to know what you think. Are there other fight cards that you can think of that would fit in great here? Or what do you think about Grothama in general? Is she too weird for you, or is this right up your alley? I want to know your thoughts and the answers to these questions in the comment section down below. Once again, my name is Havoc, and this has been an EDH Deck Tech. Thanks for watching, happy brewing, and we'll see you next time.